All right, ladies and gentlemen, part 2 of today. I'm cutting these up in smaller video chunks. This is going to be all about the intro. We just created an intro. Oops, I'm going to have to get you guys on in Zoom to see our Final Cut screen. All right, there we go. Gabriel, can you see the Final Cut screen right now?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, Gabriel, walk with me on this one. So right now, what we did is we created a new intro timeline. It's called a project. You're able to go up to File, New, and click on Project right there. Can you see that on my screen?
Yeah.
Excellent. So by clicking New Project, that gave us this new blank timeline. I call it a timeline. I wish they didn't call it a project. I wish they called it a timeline because it is a timeline, but we got to get used to that. No big deal. So intro, which is project or timeline, is blank. So we've got to think about what layers we're going to put down there first, what layers go on top of what. And by doing so, what I'm going to need to do, Gabriel, is I'm going to go into my folder. Fortunately for you, do you see my folders?
Yeah.
Okay. Fortunate for you, I already did the intro. And here's what the intro looks like. Check it out. No audio. Did you see all that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did we get a good sense of what the layers are? What's going to have to go first? What's going to go second? What's going to go third? What's going to go fourth? Let's do a quick review. What do you see here in terms of the furthest back layer? What's going to go first?
The text before it goes out, and then the curtains, and then the triangle, and then the people dancing.
And so the text, if the text went first as a layer, wouldn't the curtain cover it?
Yeah, but you move it to the front when you're like animating it coming out.
That's interesting as what you're thinking there. I get what you're saying. However, we have to start thinking about if you're doing superimposed layers, which is one object on top of another, on top of another, on top of another on the timeline, remember that the last item that you put in there is what sits on top of everything else in terms of layer. So the curtain, which you're suggesting goes first, which is accurate, if the curtain has no opacity background and we put any other layer before it, like the text, you wouldn't be able to see the text because the curtain would cover that layer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So that in theory, it's the curtain first, then the next layer that I see everything else on top of is that triangle, so that's 2. Then it's those dancers, that's 3. Then it's that text, which is 4. And then the very last 5th file layer is going to be that big marquee text that says Swing Dancing Today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are our layers. So let's keep that in mind as we start to build this, because you won't have, as you make your own video, you won't have the luxury of a completed version of it to see. We have the luxury to look at it in preview because we're learning right now. So if I had a vision in my mind of what that intro should be, this is it. And I'm sharing what's in my mind of what it's going to be so you all are on the same page. Does that make sense, Gabriel?
Yeah.
All right. So, thank you, buddy. That was very tight and smart. Here we go. We're back to the intro here. So, Nicole, I'm going to call right back on you first. All right?
Cool.
All right, you're with me. So, Nicole, based upon what Gabriel just said, what's the first item I should put down there on my timeline as a layer? Out of all of our content that we've got to bring down for the intro.
I would put down the curtain layer first.
Boom. Now check this out, Nicole. When I clicked on blue curtain, it only gave me a selection that was in the middle of the box. So this is something we have to be aware of. If I only grabbed this and brought it down to the timeline, the length of which, if I click OK, the length of it is only, boom, 4 seconds long. Now here's something you should understand. Every still object, which is a picture, a JPEG, the curtain, every still object has the ability, look on my timeline, to be stretched infinitely. We could make it 2 minutes long. I could make it 1 second long or 2 seconds long. You could make a picture any length you want of time to stay up there on your timeline, right? So here's something I want you to see. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to click on it and hit delete. Every image by default, before it pops up, if I were to extend this full length by grabbing both sides of the bars, every JPEG picture will automatically be this default length, which is 10 seconds long. 10 seconds long. Boom. So there's the length. It's actually, I'm on 10 seconds in one frame. And here's where you can see the actual length of where my playhead is. 10 seconds in one frame because it's counting the next frame, which is right after 10 seconds. Okay, Nicole? So this intro that we're going to create is actually going to be 8 seconds in length. So here's how I can fix this. Nicole, how would you shorten this curtain to 8 seconds long?
I guess just make the still frame longer, like the seconds longer for it.
Well, if I make it longer, there's about 8 seconds right about there. About 8 seconds in one frame. And if I went to the end, it's 10 seconds. So if I want to cut this down to the 8-second mark, how would I get there? There I am at 8 seconds.
Just trim it, or press on it and then trim.
So I can grab the edge and snap it to where my playhead is, and that's at 8 seconds, right?
Yes.
Yes. Let me show you another shortcut. So for those of you that like shortcuts, this is a really easy way to change the duration of any clip. Watch this, Nicole. I'm going to right-click on the clip. You see this option that pops up right there?
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, it says change duration. So I'm going to click on change duration. Watch what happens when I click on that to the time code right here. Okay? Watch. I'm going to hit change duration now. It just changed it to purple. On my keyboard, look at my finger. My finger's going down to my keyboard. It's going to hit 800. Do you see what it just did to the duration that was purple? Changed it to 8 seconds and 00 frames. Now with my finger, I'm going to hit enter. It just cut my clip in duration to 8 seconds exactly. That's how easy that is. Quick review. Right click on the clip, go to change duration. When you click that, the numbers here change purple. And then on your keyboard, you type in the time that you want it to be. I want it to be 8 seconds and 00 frames. Then I hit enter, and it snaps my clip to exactly that. We're going to use that function shortly because we're going to have all those little text items that fly in and out. We have to change all of them all at one time. All right, thanks, Nicole. That looks good. Jonathan Evans, here we go. So, Jonathan, what I want to do is be able to see my blue curtain through the entirety of my screen here. But the entirety of my screen is actually 2 minutes and 30 seconds long. How can I make it so that I'm only viewing 8 seconds worth on the timeline so I can stretch this like an accordion on the timeline and view it in a larger mode? How can I do that?
Could you cut it more so, like the timing of it?
You don't want to cut it, because if I cut it, that's actually cutting out the curtain itself. I don't want to cut it. In fact, I want to just stretch and view this. It's a view mode. How do I view it in full 8 seconds on the screen large?
Enlarging it?
How do I do that?
Just by going through the edits of it.
That won't do it. So let me show you what I'm looking for. Jonathan, check this out.
Yeah.
So first of all, step 1, everybody, make sure your playhead's at the beginning of the clip because it will stretch from the beginning outward. If my playhead was at the end of the clip, it would stretch backwards, and I don't want that. So I want it to stretch in view forwards. So check this out, Jonathan. Step 2, watch my mouse. I'm going over to where the film strip is, right here, and that's my view mode. So view mode means I can stretch this. You see how it just stretched the timeline?
Mm-hmm.
I can stretch the timeline. Look, boom, 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 boom. I'm pulling it, pulling it, pulling it, pulling it, pulling it. Do you see how now I see the whole curtain in 8 seconds? Because here it is. 4, 6, 8's over here, right behind that. 8 seconds long.
Yeah.
That allowed me to stretch it. Now check this out, Jonathan. Do you think I have enough room right above the curtain for 5 layers of view to see superimposed layers right above the curtain? 5 layers of the same size of the curtain? Do I have enough room?
I wouldn't say 5 layers, maybe like 3 or 4.
Probably like 2 more. Like if I had the blue curtain, 1 right there, 2 right there. Look at the third one goes off the screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got to shrink the height of these guys. Watch this. This little lever button shrinks it. I can foresee I can see 5 layers on there now, right? 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5. Yeah, approximately. I think we're good. Okay, looking good. I like this. There we go. That's how we change our view. All right. So I'm going to snap my play to the beginning. So, Jonathan, I'm going to stick with you on this. What's my next layer? Remember we looked at that intro. What was the next layer that needs to go on this timeline? Superimposed layer.
I'm not 100%. I don't think it was a triangle, but was
It was the triangle, because remember the dancers were dancing on top of the triangle, and the text was over the dancers. So triangle's that next layer, right?
yeah. Sorry.
All right. So I want you guys to think about this. When a video starts, you don't want everything that you want people to watch starting from this first frame. You want to ease them in. So I would say 1/3 of a second, 10 frames in, is where we should start the very first of the clip after the blue curtain. So watch this on my timeline, Jonathan. Where my playhead is sitting right here, if it's snapped to the beginning, if I use the arrow forward key, so on my keyboard, I'm going to hit the arrow forward key and watch my little time grid right here. I'm going to hit it forward once. That just moved me forward 1 frame. Twice, it moved me forward a 2nd frame. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 frames. I'm now at 10 frames. So, Jonathan, how am I going to put a little marker right here so that I've got it set so everything that I pop in is going to happen right at the 10th frame? How do I put a marker there?
Can't you save it and then through the settings?
No.
Like save that certain point.
Remember, there was a key on my keyboard that I clicked to make a marker.
Yeah, I don't remember what key it was. I do remember you saying it was a key. Was
Yeah.
it M?
You remember that process when we did match frame edit, when the dude does a lot of stops and
Yeah.
Rob says a lot of stops, and we had to make a marker there and make a marker there on the video and snap and match them? Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're with me on this philosophically. We're going to move forward on this. Tobiah, check this out. How do I make a marker right where my playhead is, right here on the timeline? How do I hit a marker? What's the key? What's the first letter of marker?
M.
M key, my friend. Watch this. My finger's going to hit the M key. Watch what happens on my timeline. Oh, shoot. There we go. I got to click on the clip first. Here's the M key. Boom. Look what happened. Everybody see that? See that little purple marker? Vitally important. All right, Tobiah, what goes down there on the layer next?
The triangle.
Boom. I'm going to click on that triangle. Full highlight of it. Snap it to the playhead on top of the other. There we go. It's that quick and easy. You grab, you drag, you snap. You grab, you drag, you snap. And when I grab it, I make sure that it's the entire length of the clip. Let's watch it on the timeline now. I'm going to play it from the beginning. Here we go. Spacebar play. It's just a flat triangle and a flat curtain in the background and flip. See where that flipped up, Tobiah? Tobiah?
Yeah.
You got that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, thank you, buddy. Chase, Domino. So, where that flipped up, I need to marker that because remember, dancers are dancing on that triangle, but when that triangle flips up, right here, it's all good. Boom. When it flips up, the dancers are dancing in outer space. So I need to make a marker there because that's the length of which I'm going to only keep the dancers dancing there, okay? You with me? So how do I make a marker where the triangle first starts moving and flipping up? What would you do?
You can cut it.
Okay, I wouldn't cut anything because you don't want to remove anything. So cutting stuff gives you the potential to remove it. Wouldn't I want a marker where that triangle flips up right there?
Yeah.
Okay, so what should I do first? Should I move my mouse to the point of where the triangle flips up first, the very first movement of it?
Yeah.
Okay, so how would I move my playhead easiest over to that space? I'm right near it, but how would I get to exactly where that frame is? What would you do on your keyboard to move it?
The arrow key?
Yeah, arrow forward. So I'm going to hit the arrow forward key. 1, 2. Oh, did you just see the triangle move? Watch, I'm gonna go backwards. Here we go. Arrow forward. 1, 2. Watch the triangle. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. There it is. It just moved, right? So I'm gonna hit the M key on my keyboard. There's the marker, and that's where it flips up. Watch when I play it on my timeline. Boom. Flips up right where the marker is. Now we're solid. Guess what? Layer number 2, done. Next. Hayden Lai. Here we go. What's our next layer?
The next layer would be the people dancing.
People dancing. Let's go there. There they are. That's them, right?
Yep.
Okay, check it out. I'm going to grab that whole clip, bring it to my timeline, snap it to where the first marker is. Isn't that beautiful? That's why we have that little marker, because it's a snapping point. Pop. I drag and drop. You see that, Hayden? Now we have 3 layers. Let's move our mouse over that. Now, what's wrong here?
The background of the blue dancers is still there, and it's not the triangle.
So the triangle's hidden underneath this layer of the blue curtain and this crappy little white side that's all cropped that we have to crop out. So we have some work to do, my friends. We have to get rid of that blue layer, blue screen, so that we can see the curtain and we can see the triangle, and we got to crop and get rid of these things. So that's our objective right now. Watch when I play this from the beginning. Yeah, you can't see the triangle or anything. All right, now you can at the very end. So we're going to snap our playhead to the beginning of the blue triangle clip. Arrow up and arrow down will snap you there, by the way. Moving my playhead and snap right to the beginning. So watch this. This is what we're going to do to fix this little deal right here. Step 1, to get rid of this, to put a filter on. Well, first let me ask the question. Nick Ward, do you know where any of the filters are at?
My guess would be that you could find the filters under like one of like the tabs that you can drop down.
Okay.
Like I think I see one under the screen where the video is. I think there's like a wand.
Oh, right there?
I think so.
I'll tell you what that does. This is kind of cool, Nick. That right there, that little wand, allows you to do color matching if you wanted to. It also, if I'm somewhere on the timeline, I'm clicked on the clip. That also, well, actually, the dial to the left, to the right of it, does time. Like if I want to slow down or speed up my clip, like the time lapse, that's what that does. But the color wand just does magic for color. It's just like a little symbol for color to clean it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So but you're very close, my friend. So check this out. The key here is I want a filter to throw on this clip so that I can get rid of the keying background. That filter is called a chroma keyer or a keyer. Watch this. So the next step that I'm going to do, my friends, is exactly what Nick was saying, was go to a folder, and if you're looking at my mouse, that's my filters folder. In fact, if I leave my mouse sitting on it, you see what popped up? Show or hide the effects browser. That's the effect. I'm going to click on it. And here we go. Nick, follow me. Remember I said keyer. So it's not going to be a color board or any of these filters for aged film. If you look at your subcategories, where's the keyer?
It's under keying probably.
You got it. And look at that. There's two different types of keyers. There's a luma keyer and a keyer. One handles taking out blue and green screens. The other will let you identify a specific color. Like if I wanted to pull out red, it would let me do that in luma keyer. That's kind of a cool feature, by the way. It gives you a lot more control, but if I want a simple controller to key out the blue-green screen, I'm going to use keyer. So watch this. Here's how it works, Nick. I'm going to grab that filter, drag it onto the timeline, pop it onto the video clip that I want to add the filter to, and let go. Watch. Boom. Look at the magic that just happened. It got rid of the blue screen. Now, here's something you all need to know. As I add a filter on, and I'm going to hide these filters boxes, by the way, so I can see the rest of my timeline better. So I just click on that box again. So Nick, here's the cool thing. When I added that filter onto it, once I'm clicked on that clip, here is the keyer. This is the filter. And it gives you all kinds of adjustment options. Like if my blue screen was not filmed properly and it had some patchy blue to it, you could go in here to the matte tools and you could change, shrink and expand or soften the edges. Look at this. I could pull away, like if I didn't get all the edges off of those dancers, watch, I could hit the erode button, but look what's happening. Nick, what's happening to those people on the shot?
They're kind of like fading away.
Yeah, because I'm eroding the edges of them. But if they had like a green screen or blue screen glow around them, this would help me. Also, softening softens the edges around them. But you see, if I go one direction too far, what actually happens to the dancers?
They blur up.
Yeah, they got a bit of a glow to them, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, what if, Nick, in this particular scenario of filtering, I wanted to make them look ghost-like? This would be a very helpful tool to ghost them. But I'm going to pull the softening tool away. Look how sharp the edge is of them. You can see the dancers clearly. They're not eroding, so I'm not taking away their feet or their arms. They're looking pretty sharp. In fact, if I played this from the beginning with that filter, watch this. Dancers are dancing, dancing, dancing. Oh, her foot went off. Oh, they're still dancing in outer space. So we got some cleanup to do. In fact, here's 3 things of cleanup we need to do. And I'm going to grab Noah. Noah, you with me?
Yes.
Okay. The 3 things we need to do next are, I need to crop these white edges of the wall away of the dancers. That's one. So that's one thing we're going to learn to do is crop the edges. 2, we're going to learn how to enlarge or shrink the dancers. In this case, should we enlarge or shrink them to fit them to the triangle?
Probably enlarge.
Well, if so with that theory, I'm going to enlarge them. Watch this. So, and then 3, I need to make sure that I cut the length of the clip so that they're not dancing in outer space when the triangle flips up. So those are 3 things we have to achieve. So I'm going to go on your theory that I have to enlarge them in just a second here. First, let's achieve the technique that we have to do with them, which is called cropping. Here we go. So step 1, you have to be clicked on the blue dance clip, which I am. Step 2, make sure your playhead's at the beginning of the clip. Step 3, I need to get to the edges and crop. Where do I get the cropping tool? Here it is, right here, bottom left corner. That allows me to crop the edges of the clip. Watch, when I click on the crop tool. That gives me now a squaring of that blue dance clip. So here's the side. If I grab that little side lever and I pull to the left, I just cropped away the edge of the video clip. Watch, I'm going to crop the left side of the clip. See how I pull? Did you see that, Nick? Did we get rid of it?
I'm sorry.
Did we get rid of the what weird white edges?
I mean, I think that when you get rid of the box, it should go away too, right?
It
Then
should,
be
right?
good.
Let's get rid of the box. Does it
Then,
look
yeah,
clean
you
now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when I play this, oh, feet went off. Oh, it flipped up. All right, we're gonna fix that. All right, the cropping tool worked. Now, to get the wireframe edges to enlarge them or shrink them, here's how you do it. Step 1, be clicked on the blue dance clip. Step 2, where I went for crop, I'm not cropping. This time I'm going to transform. The word transform means I can either enlarge or shrink the objects of people. Watch when I hit transform. Oh, this is awesome. This is so much fun. Watch this little trick that I can do. Now I have wireframe corners, Nick, that I can grab and enlarge these dancers. So with the theory that you said, let's enlarge them. If I enlarge them, watch what happens when I'm playing them. They're
Wait, do you mean
nowhere.
me or Noah here?
Oh, Noah, I'm sorry. Noah, what do you think about that? Is enlarging them a good idea?
No.
Should I have shrunk them?
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
I think so. We're going to go back to the beginning. We're going to click on the clip. We're going to go back to transform. Uh-oh, where did the corners go? I pulled it so far off the screen you can't see it. So here's another tricky trick, my friends. I want to see this percentage of view. I'm going to change that to a smaller than what the percentage is currently. Currently, it's 56. Watch when I change it to 25. This is just viewing it at a smaller scale. There's the corners. I'm going to grab the corner and shrink them down. Now I've got the corners on my full screen, so I can go back to fit to screen. And now I can still see the corners, right? So check this out. I'm going to shrink them down. Now instead of them dancing at the beginning, right here at the front of the triangle, I'm going to move them. I can move them anywhere I want on this shot. So I could have the dancers dancing off on the right-hand side if I wanted to. Right? So if I play that, cool, 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 but it looks weird, right? They're dancing in outer space on the back of a curtain. So Noah, check this out. We want to place them so that their feet are on the back end of that spotlight, so when they're dancing, her feet don't fall off the front. Now let's play it, make sure that their feet stay on. Watch. She's on, she's on, she's on, she's on, she's on. Woo! All the way till the end. So would you say that the sizing is good?
I think so.
Yeah, because we could go smaller, right? Watch this. And play that. But they are teeny tiny. Can't even tell what they're doing, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to stick with this idea that they should be just large enough so we can see them, but small enough so that they stay on the triangle. We'll play that. She's on, he's on, all the way to the end. Okay, cool. All right, so we just learned how to size or transform the size of people. Now I want to show you another trick that would be ridiculous to do on here, but you need to know that you could do it. Do you see this little lever in the middle? If I grab that lever, I could make it so I spin them upside down and they're dancing on the ceiling. So you could actually have people that are green screen dancing on the ceiling. Watch. So that's cool, but that doesn't suit our purpose, right? So everything looks good in terms of them dancing on the triangle, except for the triangle flipping up right there at the marker and them still dancing in outer space. We need to cut that. So how do I fix that? Gursimran, how do I fix cutting the dancers so that when the triangle flips up, they're not in the image anymore? How do I cut that?
I think you just roll it back from there, from this end.
Grab the end.
Yeah.
Okay, I will grab that, snap that, and we're looking good. So now, when the dancers are dancing, triangle flips and they're not there. All right, check this out, my friends. That concludes today's tutorial.